Story 1, Life Behind the Screen. My name is Lily, a 24-year-old from Austin, Texas. I had been working at a local coffee shop after dropping out of college due to financial strain. During one of my late-night scrolling sessions, I stumbled across an article about OnlyFans, a platform where creators can sell nude and adult content directly to their fans. The possibility of earning more money was tempting, and after a long discussion with my roommate Cassie, I decided to give it a go. I was a curvy brunette, and although I wasn't overly confident about my looks, Cassie, a photography major, assured me that we'd make it work. We set up a basic studio in our apartment and started creating content. I felt strangely empowered as Cassie took tasteful boudoir shots of me, my nervousness easing with every click of the camera. Our content was tame, mostly pin-up style photos and short videos of me talking about books I was reading or movies I'd seen. Within a month, I had several hundred followers and was making a decent income. It felt surreal, the idea of men paying to view my content, but the allure of the cash rolling in was intoxicating. It wasn't long before one particular follower, Devoted Fan 101, caught my eye. He didn't just tip generously, he also commented on every post I made. His messages were always polite, often praising my book choices or agreeing with my movie reviews. Then, one day, during a live stream, Devoted Fan 101 sent a private message. It read, "I love the red wine you're drinking. It matches your lipstick." I was taken aback. I hadn't mentioned what I was drinking, and yet he knew. An uneasy feeling settled in my gut. But I brushed it off, thinking he'd merely guessed correctly. However, the following weeks saw Devoted Fan 101's messages becoming more personal and unsettling. He knew details about my personal life that I hadn't shared online. This wasn't just a fan, this person was watching me, in real life. The realization sent a cold shiver down my spine, and I could not shake off the feeling of being watched. Deciding to trust my instincts, I approached the police with my concerns. However, they couldn't do much without solid proof, so I turned to Cassie. We decided to become more vigilant, taking precautions to ensure our safety. We got a new security system and I stopped posting for a while. Despite all this, the strange occurrences continued. One evening, after returning from my shift at the coffee shop, I found a box waiting for me on my doorstep. The tag read from Devoted Fan 101. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. My hands shook as I opened the box to find a collection of my personal belongings that had mysteriously gone missing over the past few weeks. I immediately dialed 911, the box serving as the concrete evidence I needed. The police managed to trace back the box to a post office across town. Security cameras revealed the sender was none other than my manager from the coffee shop. It was a terrifying revelation. In the end, my manager was arrested and charged with stalking. He had developed an obsession with me, even going so far as to create the OnlyFans account to stay close. The experience shook me to my core. I quit my job at the coffee shop and stopped my OnlyFans activities for a while. Despite the chilling ordeal, I eventually returned to OnlyFans. However, this time I was careful to maintain a firm boundary between my online persona and my private life, hoping to avoid a repeat of the past. The experience was a harsh reminder of the risks involved in exposing oneself online, a lesson I carry with me to this day. That's the end of my story. Story 2, An Uncomfortable Stretch. Hello there, my name is Emily, and I was only 19 when my story began. At that time, I was just trying to stay afloat in my first year of college, studying fashion design. My small hometown in Ohio didn't offer much in terms of job opportunities. And while I had a part-time job at the local diner, it was barely enough to cover my tuition fees and living expenses. It was during one of my shifts at the diner when my friend, Mia, suggested the idea of OnlyFans. I was apprehensive at first. The thought of sharing explicit content of myself, strangers on the internet, felt unnerving. But then she mentioned that there was a niche for everything, even specific adult content involving anal stretching by well-endowed male members. Mia wasn't judging, she was simply stating the facts. In my desperation, I took her advice and plunged into the adult content world. I decided to keep my identity as hidden as possible. I never showed my face in the videos and used the alias Miss Mystery. I was explicit about what my content involved, and to my surprise, I began gaining followers. The next step was to find suitable male talent. The idea was to hire someone who could perform on camera with me, understanding and respecting my boundaries. I turned to online adult forums, posting anonymous ads for my specific requirements. Among the flood of responses, there was a message from a guy named Alex. He was respectful, claimed to meet my physical requirements, and seemed professional. After several email exchanges, we met at a crowded coffee shop. Alex was polite and patient, understanding my need for caution. We agreed to move forward with the shoot, and we decided to do it the following week in a rented studio apartment that I used for my videos. The day arrived, and with nerves dancing in my stomach, we completed the shoot. I edited the video and posted it on my OnlyFans page. The reception was beyond my wildest expectations. The money started to flow in, and for the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of relief. However, the relief was short-lived. It wasn't long before things took a disturbing turn. Just a week after our video, Alex started acting differently. He sent me constant messages, demanding to meet outside of our shoots and becoming more aggressive when I refused. The polite, respectful demeanor had vanished, replaced with an intense fixation. I started feeling like a cornered animal. I decided to cut off all ties with Alex, but things escalated rapidly. One day, I found my apartment door scratched up as if someone tried to force their way in. The next day, my OnlyFans inbox was flooded with threatening messages from anonymous accounts. I couldn't help but connect the dots, it had to be Alex. Then, one afternoon, I returned to my apartment to find the door ajar. Fear clenched my heart as I stepped inside to find my things scattered around. It was apparent someone had been there. The final nail in the coffin was finding a note on my bed. "You can't hide, Ms. Mystery," it read. I felt my heart drop. He had found me. The fear I felt was indescribable. I called the police and moved out immediately, back to my parents' house in my hometown. My OnlyFans career ended abruptly that day. The money wasn't worth the fear I felt every time I thought of Alex or saw my damaged apartment. It was a harsh lesson in the world of online adult content. I learned that safety should never be compromised, no matter how desperate the situation might seem. Story 3, A Deceptive Taste. Hi, I'm Mariah. I was 21 and living in the heart of New York City when I first heard about OnlyFans. I was a small-town girl from Oklahoma who moved to NYC in hopes of living the life I'd seen in movies. I worked as a waitress in a diner during the day and a bar at night to afford my small, overpriced apartment in Brooklyn. It was a struggle, but I cherished my independence. One late night after work, I stumbled upon an article discussing OnlyFans. Curiosity piqued, I dove into hours of research, immersing myself in the world of adult content. It wasn't the explicitness that surprised me, but the variety. From straightforward nudity to highly specific fetish content, the platform catered to all. After much consideration, I decided to join. Not out of desperation, but intrigue, and yes, the potential of additional income was a welcome prospect. I settled on a particular fetish, one involving women swallowing multiple males' ejaculate. The thought of it was strange, even repulsive, but something about the peculiarity of it intrigued me. Creating an anonymous profile, I chose the name Aphrodite's Chalice. My content initially involved solo acts, but I knew to break into the fetish niche, I'd need male partners. I was cautious, knowing the potential risks, and took time to find the right people. After careful selection, I found two men, Jake, a 30-year-old lawyer with a secretive streak, and Travis, a quiet 28-year-old artist who lived just a few blocks away. We met in public, agreed on the terms, and decided to proceed. The first few shoots went smoothly, they were professional, and the money started flowing in. We carried out our shoots in the privacy of my apartment. We had an unspoken agreement: when the cameras were on, we were just performers. I kept the lighting dim, and the atmosphere neutral to maintain a level of anonymity and detachment. Things worked out well for a couple of months. Subscribers increased, my bank balance started looking healthier, and I felt a perverse sense of accomplishment. Then one night, after one of our sessions, I noticed something unusual. I received a message from an anonymous user: "The girl in the videos, she looks familiar. Is she from Brooklyn?" It sent chills down my spine. It was impossible. I was always careful to ensure my face was hidden. Ignoring it as a random message, I continued with my work. Over the next few days, more messages from different users started to pour in, all of them stating they recognized the girl in the videos. I was getting scared now, wondering how anyone could identify me. I was meticulous about my anonymity. Were Jake and Travis behind this? I decided to confront them. To my surprise, both Jake and Travis were as shocked as I was. They reassured me they hadn't done anything to jeopardize my anonymity. But then, how was this happening? I decided to dig deeper. I started looking at the comments under the videos and my heart sank. One comment read, "Isn't that the Times Square billboard in the reflection of the mirror?" I rushed to the footage and scanned the background. There, in the mirror's reflection, was the faint neon glow of a billboard near my apartment. My heart pounded in my chest. My location was compromised. The realization that my viewers could potentially track me down was terrifying. Over the next few weeks, I stopped producing content. I moved out of my apartment to another part of the city, hoping that the situation would die down. But the fear, the paranoia of being watched, being identified, that never went away. I left the world of OnlyFans, returning to my waitressing jobs. Looking back, I realized the dangers of navigating a world I didn't fully understand. I thought I had control over my content, my anonymity. But the truth is, the internet never forgets, and once something is out there, it's impossible to reel it back in. My foray into the world of OnlyFans ended up being far scarier than any horror movie, a chilling reminder of the price of online exposure.